Welcome to Olympian Water Testing, giving you the best in water analysis. Today we're looking at the EPA's website, the Environmental Protection Agency. This is an interesting case where the EPA settles with companies for cleanup at Mercury Refining Superfund site, New York. What happened here and why is this important? So 5 companies considered responsible for contamination at Mercury Refining Superfund site reached a settlement with the U.S. Environmental Protection Agency to do cleanup work at the site, located within the towns of Colony and Guilderland, New York. Under terms of the agreement, the work will address cleanup of soil, sediment, and groundwater contaminated with mercury at an estimated cost of more than $9 million. In addition, the agreement provides for 19 federal agencies and 46 additional entities also responsible for the contamination to make payments into an escrow account to fund the cleanup work at the site. The current owner of the site is also part of the settlement and will take responsibility for the land use restrictions to be put in place at the site. The agreement, a consent decree for remedial action and recovery of response costs between the United States of America and Gillette Company, Keyspan, Gas East Corp, Energizer Battery Manufacturing, Union Cambridge Company, Spectrum Brands, among others, was approved in the district court. Now, why is this important? Because it affects the environment. See, the EPA added the Mercury Refining Superfund site located on the border towns of Colony and Guilderland, New York, to the Superfund National Priorities List on September 1983 because of mercury in groundwater, soil, and sediments there. From approximately 1956 to 1998, Mercury Refining Inc. claimed mercury from batteries and other mercury-bearing materials at the site, which lies in industrial and commercial areas. Approximately 100,000 people live within a 3-mile radius, and the water near the site is used for drinking water and recreation. So this being affected with mercury is going to hurt because why? The water near the site is actually used for drinking and doing different things. So the mercury coming from batteries and other materials at the site from manufacturing could affect people in a negative way for sure. Pollutants and the environmental effects. Site testing in the 1980s by the New York State Department of Environmental Conservation, the NYSDEC, found high levels of polychlorinated biphenyls, PCBs, and mercury, both potentially harmful to humans and wildlife health, in soils. The groundwater at the site is contaminated with mercury, though the EPA determined that this contamination does not move off-site. Sediments in a tributary, Petron Creek, which receives runoff from the mercury refining property, are also contaminated with mercury. Groundwater at the site is also contaminated with mercury, but the EPA studies show the groundwater contamination did not move off the site. That being said, it could still be an issue because you don't know where that groundwater is going, and if it mixes with other groundwater somewhere else, it could cause problems. In the summary of the consent decree, under the agreement, the 5 companies mentioned above will conduct cleanup work at the site. Contaminated soil at the surface, which is more easily accessible to people, will be excavated and taken off-site to a secure facility. Contaminated soil that's deeper will be treated with a technology that treats contaminated soil and groundwater by locking the mercury in a mixture of Portland cement and another agent, preventing from moving into the surrounding soil and groundwater. So with companies making mistakes like this, whether it was intentional or whether it was a mistake, negligence, whatever it was, this is something to definitely take note, because this is not the only incident in which this happens. Now, it's great that they were able to find an agreement, but this is always cause to make sure that you periodically test your water for any level of mercury.